Good morning, everyone, and welcome to beautiful Pennsylvania. My name's Terry Rooch, and this is Serious Automotive Training. This is another one of my modules regarding the Pennsylvania Motor Vehicle Safety Inspection Recertification or Initial Certification prep classes that are available online through Serious Auto Training on YouTube or follow me on LinkedIn to catch up with any of the prior modules to help assist the mechanic, the station owner, or the car owner the rules, the laws, the regulations regarding vehicle safety and or emission inspection in Pennsylvania. In this beautiful morning in Pennsylvania, I can only think of two things that I want to do. One is definitions for motor vehicle inspections, and the other one is polka music. So let us begin. Today we're going to start with 6 definitions. I want to start with 6 definitions. I mixed them up a little bit. Different from the way the book has them, publication 45, I make them real. So there is an object to the game here, since it is Super Bowl weekend. So we'll go through the definitions. I want to talk about 2 different motor vehicle forms. I also have a special guest in the house that we're going to refer to a little bit here, and we'll make it a great morning. Number 1, foreign vehicle in Pennsylvania. I cheated. I didn't go the PA code for this definition. I used my publication 645, which is the Enhanced Vehicle Safety Inspection. This is the Category J booklet for the technician pursuing the reconstruction application. So that is a different module. So, I don't like reading the definitions, but I'm going to read this one. A foreign vehicle is a vehicle of a type registered in this title brought into Pennsylvania from another state, territory, or country. Where would you see this? The perfect example for me was when I was a student at the Schuylkill County Vocational School, back when they were Votex. We had an 83 Ford Esquire wagon brought to us. Ford teachers were on their way down Interstate 81 from Canada, traveling to Atlanta. For whatever reason, the engine let loose. The engine let loose on 81 right near our school. So they get in a rental car and go. They donate the Ford to us. So we got a brand new Ford Esquire, had it there. I'm sure it's still there. My friend ripped the gas tank off when we were students. The point is, we started using the vehicle for inspection training for the adult program. One of the technicians found that the glazing, which is the definition of glass, for that vehicle was not AS approved. So that entire vehicle came from Canada. That entire vehicle had non-approved safety glass in. So there's a situation where that definition may touch base with you when you're inspecting a vehicle. Now today you look at a serial number on a car, it's a 2, a VIN number at the beginning, it came from Canada. So most of our vehicles do come from Canada. This is an example of that definition. The next one is a designated area. Well, here in Pennsylvania, our special guest, Mr. Punxsutawney Phil, is in the house, and he's all excited. Why is Phil excited? Well, it's simple. Phil lives in Jefferson County. Jefferson County is one of the 42 non-subject counties in Pennsylvania. So that's our second definition. Subject counties, or subject vehicles, sorry. So a subject vehicle in Pennsylvania is required to be part of the emission inspection program. So again, we refer back to the map. Further down the road, we'll do the training for the emissions technician. But for the definition, Jefferson County in Pennsylvania is part of the 42 counties that do not require an IM inspection. IM meaning inspection and maintenance, which we refer to as emissions. So subject vehicles go by currently the county that the vehicle is titled or registered in. Indicator for the technician is on the registration card here. I'm looking at a bulletin all the way back September 97. On your registration card, it will read emission inspection required, diesel exempt. Of course, the diesels are not required to be inspected for emissions in Pennsylvania. If you happen to be like me, and you would have worked in New York City at one time, you would have an emission inspection card along with a safety combined to do emission inspection on a diesel. Just a quick one point I want to point out to you. Pennsylvania, you do not need to be employed at a facility to have your license, to acquire a mechanic license. In New York, you do. You have to be sponsored and sent to the facility where you would get trained and tested. So a little bit different there for states. Let's point out one other thing here while we're talking about subject vehicles. Pennsylvania used to have emission ID mechanic cards that look like our safety card. It was a vehicle class 8. We no longer use these. The new cards look like, again, the ones that I was referring to here for the different type of emission inspector first edge card that you will be required to have on you as an emission inspection mechanic. Yeah, okay, one more thing we're going to talk about here when we talk about emission inspections. We're going to hold it to the end because, like I said, I like to mix these definitions up into categories where I kind of have an object of the game, which we'll get to at the end. The safety insert, or the IM insert I referred to previously, we have two different expiration inserts in Pennsylvania. One is the IM indicator insert, and the other one is the safety insert. So again, Phil was happy. He woke up yesterday. He was thrilled because in Jefferson County, his vehicle is not part of the emissions program. So for Phil, he got to take his car. He saved some money. He got his safety inspection done. Hey, Phil was all excited. So Phil only got on his car a safety expiration insert. Again, there was two types. Going back, I read this bullet previously from December of '87. If you still have the old style inserts, it's telling you right here in black and white, use them until they're finished. Some people have tons of them. Just don't use them to put your address on the mailbox. VIN plate. Make it real simple. Normally VINs are 17 digits in Pennsylvania. Some of the older ones for motorcycles were smaller. I just want to say one thing about a VIN, vehicle identification number. Verify it. Verify it. Verify it. Actually, I want to say three things. One of the first things I always do, or did when I inspected a vehicle, was I took the registration card, I matched it right to the VIN, and I went back to the plate. It's the easiest thing to do. It takes 2 seconds. If someone is doing a title-only inspection for proof of ownership, verify the VIN. Make sure it's secure. The oldest game in the book is to buy a junk trailer just for the VIN plate, put it on your homemade trailer, and now it comes into someone for an inspection. Verify it's permanent, secure, and it matches everything. State replacement VIN, that's a plate that gets sent back to the customer from PennDOT. It's mounted inside under the dash. I've seen them on street rods. I've seen them on trailers. This is where the VIN would be so obscured that you would need a replacement VIN. So they're out there. So know those two definitions. They're pretty important. The last thing I want to talk about here is two different forms that are pretty important. Again, relating to subject vehicles. So if a customer would come into you and say, listen, I do not live in a county, so my vehicle is not subject. I'm not part of the IM program. So the form MV421 is what the customer would need to fill out, where they would prove to the state where their vehicle is registered to, or titled for that fact, to have that removed from their registration card. So again, it would read it on the card if it's required, on their registration. There's situations like up in Quakertown, in Bucks County, where the people who live on the same street with the same zip code live in different counties. So there are very rare situations where borderline people have this problem. So we've been going through this long enough in Pennsylvania, all the way back to 1982, I believe, where we had subject vehicles that were subject because of their zip code and not by their county. So unless someone's building a new house somewhere on the border, I don't think we're really going to have the problems we did in the past with verifying where they live. Again, at the end, I want to point you to where all this is going to. The last thing here we have for today is the MV450 form. So if you have an inspection station, say, you know what, I can't wake up in the morning. I'm only kidding. Let's say you drive school bus. Let's say you work up at the prison and you teach state inspection. Let's say you're an instructor there. For whatever the reason, you have the ability to fill out the MV450. This is the application of waiver for hours. So now you could submit this form. It's 4/17, so this isn't that old. It's not even a year old. You could tell the state, hey, I cannot work those normal hours of 7 to 5. I cannot be open during the 7 to 5 for 40 hours. So I want to petition the state with a waiver to adjust my hours for the public to come into my facility, my inspection station, to get their vehicle inspected. I know some people that do this. For them, it must have been easy. They're retired police. They still have their facility up. They're open at night. They're open in the evening. So for them, they knew about this form. This one just popped up to me recently. So have at it. So again, just to recap, we talked about farm vehicles coming in from Canada, designated area. Right now it's a county, no longer a zip code. Goes by county, is a designated area. Subject vehicle is registered or titled in a designated area. We talked about the 2 different inserts in the bulletin. You can still use the old ones if you have them. VIN plate, make sure it's secure and matches the vehicle. The state replacement VIN, that would come from PennDOT. They'll send you a whole new VIN plate with the same digits. The 2 different forms we talked about. And of course, Punxsutawney Phil was in the house. He had a wonderful weekend because his vehicle did not require an emission inspection because he lives in Jefferson County and it's registered at his residence. So, with all these definitions that I grouped together in a form, the object of the game today was very simple. I need everyone to understand that in Pennsylvania, for a vehicle to have a safety inspection, to pass your safety inspection, if the vehicle is titled and registered in a designated area, which means it would require an emission inspection, you need to ensure that that vehicle has a current emission inspection sticker before you could update the safety inspection sticker. Now we have a process now where you could identify that to the customer through the inspection and still not update the sticker. We call it a temporary approval indicator, which we'll get into. But the object of the game is for the customer to understand that you will do the safety inspection on their vehicle. You never want to tell them you cannot safety inspect a vehicle. That's very bad. People don't go to the hospital and say, hey, listen, I want to get checked. And they say, well, you don't have insurance. You got to get out of here. No, if it's life and death, so it's life and death with a car too. You have to assume that risk, but let the customer know, hey, you're not going to pass. I cannot update the sticker without you having a current emission sticker. So, I'm looking at a bulletin from October 04, emission inspection reminder. Now that the emission program has been expanded into 25 counties, Phil's not part of it, please be sure to verify evidence of a renewed emission inspection. There we go. It's in black and white, bulletin October 4. When we talk about the temporary approval indicators in the next module or two, we're rounding out on our definitions. I think we have another day or two of these before we get into subchapter B. Anybody has any questions or they want some translation in Spanish, me llamo me. Also, Serious Auto Training at yahoo.com, at live.com. Don't be afraid to send me an email, a question, phone call, or be like Phil, just come in set for the day. So, enjoy your day, and everything is serious, right?